Hey Meadows, I hope that you guys are doing well. And I hope that you guys are enjoying this study through the attributes of God. So far this week, we've covered the holiness of God, the satiety of God, and today we have one more that we'll be covering. And I don't know about you, but I know my heart has been really blessed by this study as we've learned of who God is. And so for today, our passage is Psalms 139, 1 through 16. If you haven't read this passage yet, I encourage you to press pause, go read this passage, and do a Hear Journal. A Hear Journal is a very simple way to study the Bible. What it stands for is H is highlight. Highlight a passage or two that really stands out to you. E is explain. Explain this passage and as if you're going to explain it to someone else in your own words. A is apply. What does this passage demand of me? And then R is response. What am I supposed to do out of a response to this passage? And so if you haven't already, go read Psalms 139, 1 through 16, using the Hear Journal as we study on who God is. Now, if you've already read Psalms 139, 1 through 16, I hope you found encouragement in the writings and poetry of David. These first two verses, 1 through 2, is a very familiar verse for many of us, and I just want to read it out loud real quick. It says, "O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar." What David's communicating in these two verses, as well in this rest of this passage, is the idea that God is everywhere. And theology and theologians summarize this phrase with the word omnipresence. And this is the attribute that we want to focus on today, is the omnipresence of God. And really simply, as David describes, is the idea that God is everywhere. And to help unpack this idea of omnipresence, you may have heard the illustration of gas, that gas is diffused throughout the entire universe. But where this falls apart is that not every particle of that gas can be at every single place in the universe at the same time, for each particle is dispersed throughout the universe. And where this is different than God, where God isn't separated throughout the universe, and so if I'm sitting on my porch, I'm not just experiencing the mercy of God while you are experiencing the love of God and someone else experiencing the justice of God or the wrath of God. But He is fully God at every single place. And so as I'm sitting on my porch, God is fully with me. His full of wisdom, His justice, His mercy, His love is fully here, with all of His attributes. And likewise, wherever you're listening to this, He is also fully there in all of His attributes, His love, His mercy, His wisdom, His goodness, His holiness. Really, this is what omnipresence means, is that God is fully present in His full divinity, in all that He is. Because God is omnipresent, we can find comfort. It doesn't mean we have to go searching the highest mountain or go to the deepest cave to find God. But right where you're at, right where you're watching this, He is there. In all of His glory and all of who He is there. And so no matter what situation in life you're facing right now, no matter where you're at physically right now, God is there with you in all of His glory and all of who He is. And so I hope and pray that as we read Psalms 139 and we reflect on the omnipresent attribute of who God is, we will find encouragement knowing that our God is a God who is near, who listens, who knows us, knows even the details, the smallest details of our life. And so, Meadows family, I hope that you find encouragement as you are reading Psalms 139 and reflecting on the omnipresence of our God.